The second half of the chapter is much similar to what you would have done in Algebra 1. So we have those absolute values in 1-4. In 1-5, we're going to go back to inequalities. An inequality is simply a statement that involves an inequality system. So a symbol for an inequality, we used to call those the little Pac-Men. So, or your alligators, where it opens left to right or right to left. So we have some inequality statements, and it says, are these true or false? So, is 5 less than 12? Yeah, so that one's a true. Is 5 less than negative 12? False. Is 5 greater than or equal to 12? False. So it's all about, can you read it the way it's written? Is 5 less than or equal to negative 12? No. A positive will never be less than a negative. Is 5 less than or equal to 5? Yes. And is 5 greater than or equal to 5? Yes, because they both have equals. And then like section 1-3 and problems on your test, solve for x given 3x plus 3 equals 2x minus 3. So we'll move over the 3. And we get 3x equals 2x minus 6. Move over the 2x. And we get x equals negative 6. Okay? And then let's talk about number 8. Number 8 says 5x equals, and then we're going to distribute the 9. So you get 9x minus 8 times 9 is 72 plus 12. Subtract your 9x, so you get negative 4x. Combine like terms, you get negative 60. Divide by negative 4. And we get x is equal to negative 60 divided by negative 4. A negative divided by a negative becomes positive, and 60 divided by 4 is 15. I don't know why it's double writing. Okay. So there are a couple properties of inequalities. The properties of inequalities are very similar to the properties of equality that we talked about last chapter, where if A is less than or equal to B and B is less than or equal to C, then in turn A is less than or equal to C. The addition property says you can add C to both sides and it doesn't change the equality. You can subtract from both sides. Guys, for multiplication and division, you do not have to write the ands and ifs and thens if you don't want. You could just kind of like draw arrows. But basically for multiplication and division, the idea is that if you divide by something less than 0, so if you divide by something less than 0, that's this example here and this example here. That is like dividing by a negative. Something less than 0 is a negative. If you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, then we have to recall that you switch the direction of the inequality. I'm going to exit and enter the pen again. I don't know why it's double writing. Okay. And then I don't believe you have space on your page for it, but I just want to kind of reiterate this idea here. And if you want to, off to the side, you could put the symbol, and if it's an open or closed circle. Again, this is something I think we all know, but it's always nice to reiterate the facts again. So an inequality is simply a comparison of two quantities using one of the following symbols. So when I say the inequality, that means the statement is going to have one of these four symbols in it. And again, I know there's not space on your page. I just want to hit on when I say words, what they mean. If I say greater than is more than, then that means it is an open circle with the inequality facing to the left. If I say less than is fewer than, still an open circle, but now your inequality faces right. If you add an equal to, it does not change the inequality's direction. It simply changes that the inequality is an open first closed circle. So if it is greater than or equal to, then we have a closed circle when graphing. So we have something, our directions are going to look similar to this. Solve the inequality, then graph the solution. So this is why that last slide was important, because we're going to graph our solutions. So the first thing we need to do is solve for x. So you have negative 2x less than 3x minus 15. Subtract 3x from both sides. When I divide by negative 5, my inequality changes direction. So it goes from a less than to a greater than. A negative divided by a negative becomes a positive. So I have x greater than 3 on your number line. I don't care if you start at 0 or not. You just need to make sure you have 3 on there and 2 numbers above it and 2 numbers below it. This is greater than, so it's an open circle. If 3 is greater Therefore, it is shading right. I need to know when you are shading in a direction. It needs to be darker some way. I also need to know open versus closed. If I can't tell, I'm going to assume closed. If I can't tell, I assume closed. Distribute, combine like terms. Even though I divided a negative by a positive does not change the direction of an inequality. So it becomes -2 is greater than or equal to n. The inequality direction only changes if you divide or multiply by a negative, not taking a negative and dividing it by a positive. So -2 is greater than or equal to n. Well, that's the same as saying n is less than or equal to -2. Remember that the transitive and symmetric properties still apply, so I can flip the side that it's on. It is a closed circle this time, and the n values have to be smaller than -2, so we shade left. Okay? In number 3, I have 7x is greater than or equal to 7 times 2 plus x. So we're going to distribute. And we get 0 is greater than or equal to 14. Is 0 bigger than 14? No. This is a false statement. If when solving I get a false statement, then what do you think that means for my answer? If when solving you get a false statement, what do you think that tells you about your answer? Is any number for x going to work on this problem? No. So what do you got? Cool. Yes. No matter what you try to plug in, you will never find an x value that makes that true. Not positive, not negative. Okay. Let's look at the next one. So I get 2x less than 2x plus 2 plus 3. So we get 2x is less than 2x plus 5. Subtract our 2x. And we get 0 is less than 5. Is 0 less than 5? Yeah. So this one is true. So if a false statement was no solution, a true statement would be what? So if this has no solution, what do you think happens with this one? It's kind of like the opposite of no solution. Cool. Yeah, a solution. How many, Colleen? All real numbers, exactly. So this is like an infinite number of solutions. And she nailed it when she said it's all real numbers. I am going to shade the entire number line. There are an infinite number of solutions. It is the set of all reals. Okay. A real estate agent earns a salary of $2,000 per month plus 4% of the sales. Find the sales if the salesperson is to have a monthly income of at least $5,000. So now we're taking words and we're interpreting them to try to come up with a solution for the problem. So if they earn $2,000 per month, that is kind of like the money that is unchanging. That is your initial condition. So no matter what, they are going to make $2,000. They earn or plus 4% in sales. Anytime we have a percent, we have to divide it by 100 to turn into a decimal in our problem. So 4% is 0.04. Here's where you have to interpret the terminology. It says for the sales, if the salesperson is to have a monthly income of at least $5,000. So I know the $5,000 is going to be over here. What I need to figure out is, am I picking the greater than symbol or the less than? Can she earn $5,000? It says at least, right? So it tells me it's going to be an equal to. If she needs at least 5,000, then her commission and income needs to be bigger than 5,000. At least means she needs to make more than that. Now solve for S. So 3,000 divided by 4, or 0.04, sorry, is 75,000. So what that means is they need to sell $75,000 in whatever they're selling to make their monthly income. Okay, take a minute, read the next one. So again, very similar problem, just smaller numbers. So they make $700 per month. They only get 2% of their sales, but they still need to make a certain amount. So they need to earn more than that $1,800. So if they make less commission on their sales, even though this salesperson is asking to earn less money per month because they earn less in sales, they have to sell an amount pretty close to the other person. So they need to sell $55,000 even though they're only making $1,800 per month. So when you get older, your commission or your commission-based job, the percent you earn in sales is extremely important. So that's your real world aspect to why this is important. May help you decide what job to pick one day. Okay, your homework is nice and short. It's in your packets. You're doing the ticket in the door worksheet 1 to 9.